welcome to another podcast of Depreciation Nation, and today Dareth and I are going to talk about maintenance, or rather lack thereof, and how it affects your bottom line. So, one of the things that obviously occur when we buy cars for simply a few $100s is that they have problems, and they have a lot of problems. And so one of the things that leads to those problems would be the lack of maintenance and how continuing to allow things to pass that need to be serviced or replaced will cause that repair bill to spiral out of control. And so when I end up buying a vehicle, as I initially said, for a few $100s, it needs a lot of maintenance. And so that's what we're going to talk about today.
Basically, why did I just purchase your car for $400?
Exactly. So, one of the examples when we were talking prior to filming that I could come up with was on my E46, the purge valve went bad. And I knew that the purge valve had gone bad, and I allowed it to stay bad for a little while. And then in the process of that purge valve being bad, then the spark has to run hotter so that the car doesn't lose power, and I ended up burning out the spark plugs and 3 out of the 6 ignition coils. And parts in general ended up being a little over $300 when in reality the purge valve was a $40 part, and it would have corrected that issue had I addressed it when it initially popped up.
Another issue that we run into, and we're all guilty of this, is why do we drive our car when it's below a quarter tank?
The fuel cools the fuel pump. So allowing that fuel to be down allows that pump to dry out, and suddenly it's generating heat when it wouldn't be otherwise.
Exactly.
That's a great mention. Another thing would be a fuel filter.
Fuel filter.
Neglecting your fuel filter allows contaminants to get into your engine, and as a result of that, potentially damaging some much more expensive components when you could just replace a $21 or a $22 fuel filter.
What about changing coolants?
Coolant. The coolant change being one of the most neglected maintenance issues that we see on a regular basis. Do you know why you have coolant flushes and why you keep your coolant changed?
Yeah, because usually if you don't do that, the old coolant becomes acidic and starts to eat away at your engine.
Meaning that you suddenly crack a cylinder head, or you eat the aluminum fins off of a coolant pump, or worse, the coolant starts to eat out the cooling passages on the cylinder head or the cooling passages in the engine block, leading to a very, very expensive repair bill.
What about Tuneups?
Oh, Tuneups. Tuneups that keep your car running in tip-top shape, or more importantly, reduce the amount of effort that it requires for that vehicle to run. Meaning, common replacement of your air filter, which prevents additional contaminants from entering the engine. Common replacement of your spark plugs, which reduces the load required on the engine to run. Regular oil changes.
Yeah. You'd be surprised.
I wouldn't. The X3 that we bought, I think that 2014 might be the last time that car had an oil change, because when I went to change the oil filter actually came out in pieces.
Wow.
Most of the internals on that engine appear to be okay, but I don't believe that routine oil changes were a part of its history post 2014 to now. It's all good.
I had something on the tip of my tongue. I just went
Tire rotations, alignments, and replacements of tires would be another crucial subject, due to the fact that allowing tires to wear past a safe tread point starts to wear on your suspension components.
And that costs thousands of dollars to replace.
So whereas you would initially be into tires for a few $100s, you're now replacing control arms, control arm bushings, tie rod ends, inner outer tie rods, and a gamut of other issues because once that occurs, replacing your tires isn't always the best idea because you're going to eat the new tires just as fast as you ate the former tires.
Yeah.
So, purpose of this particular podcast is to encourage folks not to let their cars spiral out of control.
Just address basic issues.
That $38 or $40 part now could save you $800 later. That $20 part now could save you thousands of dollars later. And it opens you up, or it reduces the value of your product. And in the end, you expose your bottom line because your transportation, second to housing, is one of the largest expenses that you're going to have. So protect it, take care of it,
and value it.
So what we're recommending is to take your car in for routine inspections. I know that Firestone Tires and Tires Plus, just to name two of the reputable service locations, perform free inspections, and you're not always required to do everything that they might indicate that your vehicle is in need of, but at least you're going to have a general idea of the health of your vehicle, which will help you moving forward to reduce your costs and protect your expenses. So what we're saying is that your vehicle is the second greatest expense that you have next to your housing. So we're just encouraging you to protect it and take care of it and value it. So take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time.
Don't forget, click like, subscribe, and click the bell.
Okay.